This Good Morning Northwest morning spread is brought to you by Bill's Heating and Air Conditioning.
It is 6:53, time to get you ready to take on your Thursday in the morning sprint.
Today, the Supreme Court is set to rule on affirmative action, student loans, and other things. Sydney Charles has the details.
It's peak time for fireworks, and Destiny Richards is live with some important rules to know ahead of your 4th of July weekend.
But let's get to Emily Bloom first, telling us about a fire weather watch is in effect right now.
Yep, it's going to go into effect on Saturday through central Washington. This is because of dry conditions and right along with that gusty wind. So you want to make sure that you are being very vigilant, particularly heading into the 4th of July weekend. Aside from that, we've got temperatures in the high 80s and lower 90s consistent through the middle of next week with sunny skies.
Breaking news out of France this morning, where the shooting death of a 17-year-old by a police officer during a traffic stop has sparked nationwide outrage and 2 nights of violent protests, including a primary school being burned to the ground. Today, a prosecutor said the police officer acted illegally, saying the legal conditions for using the weapon had not been met. That officer has been put under provisional detention for voluntary homicide.
A plan to address homelessness is now in the hands of city and county leaders in our community. The Spokane Regional Collaborative has been working to organize recommendations over the last 90 days. The plan essentially connects the dots between services and programs. It addresses homelessness, health, safety, and housing. The group recommends moving the shelter system into a triage model, prioritizing those most in need. Now that the group has handed over the recommendations, city and county leaders have to agree and then sign off on it.
In North Idaho, the West Bonner School Board has officially appointed Brandon Durst as its new superintendent. The decision had one board member in tears and some parents deciding to move. Durst replaces interim superintendent Susie Lucky. According to his contract, Durst will be paid $110,000 a year with $2,500 in travel paid for by the district. It also gives him an automatic renewal for a second year and allows his wife to be covered under the district's insurance.
Also discussed at the meeting, the limited budget the West Bonner School District is dealing with since the levy supporting school funding failed. The business manager presented a proposed budget where sports and extracurricular activities were cut by 75% from last year. Also, the district is still short in paying its school resource officer for next year. The West Bonner School Board has not yet approved the budget.
And the Supreme Court is expected to hand down a new round of opinions this morning. One of them involves student loan debt relief. The Supreme Court will determine whether President Joe Biden's student loan debt plan is constitutional. Another decision from the court could affect higher education. The justices could put an end to affirmative action programs. And they could also decide on a case involving anti-discrimination laws. At issue, can businesses refuse to serve LGBTQ+ people because of free speech? And we could also see a ruling about religious accommodations at work after a man sued the U.S. Postal Service over being forced to work on Sundays.
As we head into 4th of July weekend, it's important to remember that the sale and use of amateur consumer fireworks like these are illegal in Spokane, and it's most of Spokane County, the city of Spokane, Spokane Valley, Cheney, Millwood, Liberty Lake, and unincorporated areas of Spokane County where this ban has been in place for 31 years. There are fire risks and injury risks that come with it. You can go to our website, KXLY.com, for more information about those risks, the costly fines that come with it, and some alternatives like seeing professional shows in our area.
If you're planning on traveling for the 4th of July, today is the start of peak travel for the holiday, with nearly 3 million passengers expected to pass through airports on Friday. For drivers, according to AAA, nearly 44 million people are expected to hit the roads this weekend. As millions are preparing to head out for the weekend, many air passengers across the U.S. are facing delays and cancellations. Days of severe weather have been grounding flights, causing a ripple effect and clogging the system. The FAA faults Mother Nature, though some airlines blame the FAA as it faces a shortage of air traffic controllers.
There's a carnival coming to town tomorrow. Spokane Neighborhood Action Partners, or SNAP, will be hosting a free resource carnival in Mission Park. The event starts at 11 a.m. It runs until 3. There will be activities for the whole family. Parents can get help applying for community resources like Washington's Working Families Tax Credit, which could help families receive up to $1,200. You can find more information on SNAP's Resource Carnival at KXLY.com.
And a Spokane I-90 on-ramp will be closed for this morning's commute. Crews are paving the eastbound Broadway Avenue on-ramp until noon. The Department of Transportation recommends using the Mullen Road or Argonne on-ramp instead. We'll be back with the last check of weather right after this.